get started, a lot of us have those stacks of business cards that we have in our drawers or on our desks. Some of them have rubber bands over them so that they don't get messy. But really, what do you do with them, right? What do you do with those contacts that you meet? Pre-COVID days, we were going to networking events, we were meeting people in person. So we were collecting all these business cards. Some of you would put them in Excel or some sort of a spreadsheet, which is a great step. But really to automate that, you want to get them into a CRM, which is a client or customer relationship management system. A lot of people have heard of Salesforce. That's an example of one of them. So then what do you do once you have that list of those contacts that you've been meeting? What do you really do with them? Some of us cold call them, or let's call it warm calling, because you've probably already met the person if you're holding their business card. And that's reaching them one at a time, right? But to automate that process, you need an email marketing platform, which will allow you to reach more than one person at a time. Your entire list can be reached at one time. Then some of us are still only accepting cash. If you're kind of that brick and mortar type of business, you want to automate that by collecting credit cards, Venmo, PayPal, all of these. There's a lot of really great third-party secure platforms that you can use to accept payment. And then there's bookkeeping and invoicing and accounting. Some of us are still saving all our receipts that are going right next to those business cards in the drawers. Again, with, folded up in stacks of them. And then when tax season comes along, we're kind of going crazy trying to add up all our receipts, send them to the accountant. But really what you need is an accounting software where you can just snap those receipts with your mobile phone. You can then throw out the receipt because you have them all in your database. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then there's really just your everyday to-do list, where you're writing your daily tasks in a notebook or an agenda. You can also have that all digital with a project management software. So what tools do we really need when thinking about transferring those manual processes into those automated processes? First, like I said in the last slide, you need a CRM, a customer relationship management system, where you can actually collect all those contacts, organize them into whether they're a partner or a customer, or whether they're a prospect or a vendor. Then what you want to do is you want to be able to communicate with that list, and you can do that through an email marketing platform. Then you want a project management software so that you can manage all these campaigns. You can manage your HR department, your operations, your sales, your marketing. And even if you're a one-person shop, all of this makes sense because, it's just a lot easier to organize all of your projects that are going on in the company. Then I'll talk about a CMS or a content management system. And this is where you would build your website if you don't already have one. There's a lot out there. A lot of us know about WordPress and Drupal, but I'm going to talk about more of a cost-effective option. And then you want to do SEO for your online presence, search engine optimization. So I'm going to talk about a free keyword research tool that is not a Google product because most of us know about those. Then there's accounting and time management where, it's really effective for a small business owner to have all of that automated, whether you're invoicing or you're snapping receipts for your expense reports or you need your P&L statements. Definitely an accounting and bookkeeping software is super crucial. And then a business system. So some of us as business owners still have the @Gmail or at yahoo.com, but it's really great if you have your domain name.com. If you want that, you need to pay for a service like Google, which is attached to Gmail, or Microsoft, which is another option. And the business system also helps with team communication. It will give you access to conference calling and chat. And also all of your documents can be stored in the cloud. So I'm going to go over some of these free tools. I'm going to talk about four of them in particular, and I'm going to go into detail about each of them. So the first one is HubSpot. I used HubSpot when I was in the corporate world, and we were literally spending 26,000 a year on HubSpot. But there is a free version of it for both your CRM and email marketing. So I HubSpot, I love it as a tool. There's a lot of functionality that as you grow as a business, you can start paying for because it's more convenient. But really, as a small business or a startup, their email marketing platform and their CRM is really fantastic. I'll go more into detail about that later. Asana is a wonderful project management software that is also free. Again, you can start paying for it as you need more capabilities within the project management software. But it's really great for a task organizer and a calendar just to see what's going on in the company, what all of your employees are up to. Or even just yourself, just to organize what you have to do on a daily, weekly, monthly, or even quarterly or annual basis. Then we'll talk about Weebly, which is a really great website builder. It's your content management system. It's free to design a website. You do have to pay for hosting after, but it's super affordable. It's between 12 and like $20 a month. So I would highly recommend that. We'll again go into detail on that. And then finally, the keyword research tool that we'll be talking about today is Ubersuggest. Neil Patel is a really fantastic digital marketer, and he came up with this tool, and I've been using it ever since I found it, and it's just a really great option. So first, let's go over HubSpot. So we're first going to talk about the CRM, and my favorite part about it really is I like a lot about it, but it's really the integration with your email and other technology platforms that you are using. So I specifically use Google Workspace. So I have a Gmail account. And the HubSpot integrates really nicely. If you can see my mouse, here's the little plugin at the top. Anytime you want this window to open here and HubSpot to integrate with your email, this will pop up here. And what's nice is instead of you taking those business cards that are stuck in your drawer, all in a mess, anytime somebody emails you, it will ask you whether you want to add this person to your CRM. So you just click this button and it literally will save all the details from that contact, especially if it's in the email signature, and it will bring it over to your CRM. So I really love that functionality of it because it's all automated. Another thing I really love about HubSpot with the integration into your email is that an important email that you're anxious to know what's going on, you will get pop-ups in the corner of your email platform, and it will tell you when that person opened it. So sometimes after sending a proposal, I'll see that so and so opened up that specific email 10 times, and it just means that at least I know that they're reading it, right? Sometimes they don't open it at all, so maybe you could give them a reminder a few days later. And so once you get that contact into HubSpot, into the CRM, you would go to this contact section here. Then once you click on a contact, this window will open up. And there's a lot to go over here. I'm really going to keep this high level. But what it does is it'll if their email is at their domain name.com, they will bring all that company information over, including the phone number of the company, the name of the company, and the domain name. So HubSpot does all that for you if it's listed. If it's an at Gmail, you're going to have to, or at Yahoo or something else, general, you're going to have to bring that information over yourself. What I really like about it is there's this activity section where it shows all the activity associated with that specific contact. It'll tell you how many times they opened an email. It'll tell you about their life cycle changes, which I'll get into later. And you have a notes section here where every time I meet a contact or I enter someone into the CRM, I always talk in the notes section. I always I always say where I met that person, because once you get to hundreds and thousands of contacts, you forget. And so it's nice to keep track of all that. Again, it'll keep track of all your emails, all of the calls to the person, to that contact if you log them. The tasks section is really great because let's say we meet somebody, in a virtual networking event and you add them to the CRM, you can say, follow up with this person in 5 days, 8 days, 10 days, whenever you'd like. It'll say the time of day you want to follow up with them and whether you want to call them or email them. Then that, because it's integrated with your email, it's going to give you an option, or it will send you an email to remind you to call that person when you set that for. So the task section is really cool. And then there's a meeting section as well, just so you can keep track of the meetings. So once you have, all of this together, there's the deals section here, which is very similar to opportunities with Salesforce. If any of you are familiar with Salesforce, the deals is the same as the opportunity. And what happens, what I like about this is if that contact turns into potential revenue for you, then what you want to do is you want to create a deal and you can say what the amount of that deal is worth. You can say the close date, the estimated close date of that deal, and you can talk about other details. So this is your sales pipeline, and what you do is you can organize all of these contacts who become deals or opportunities into different phases of your sales pipeline. So the first one is appointment scheduled. The next one would be qualified to buy, then presentation scheduled, whether the decision maker was bought in or not. Then once you send your contract or proposal, and then what's cut off on this side is your closed ones and your closed losses. So it also totals up all the revenue in each of these stages as you move them through the sales pipeline. So this is a really fantastic feature to have, because then you know whether or not you're reaching your goals, whether it's your monthly goals, quarterly goals, annual goals. It's just a really fantastic tool to have. Another great thing, and I'm going to move over to the email marketing platform of HubSpot now, is that let's say you've sent out contracts or proposals to some of your deals. You can then bring, if you're wondering what's going on with it, if you haven't heard from them in the while, then you can market to them with the email marketing platform. So what's really nice about HubSpot is it gives you your CRM and your email marketing platform all in one. So you don't have to upload any lists to your, whether it's a separate platform. I use Constant Contact a lot for some of my other clients, but it's really nice to have them all in one place. So what you would do here is, first I showed you the contact section. The deals section we just went over is in the sales section. Now I'm going to talk about the marketing section. So what you can do is you can take those specific contacts that you've sent out proposals to, which would be in a list. You can then market to them. You can market to your entire list if you want, or create segments of your lists. But this is a really great feature to have so that you can control the messaging going out to people. Sorry. So this is me creating a new email. It brings you up to this section where it asks you to select a template. Once you do select a template, you can come in here to the website builder, which is a super user-friendly builder where you literally drag and drop these options. Whether you want an image or a text, you can bring buttons over, you can embed video links, social media icons, you can even have 1, 2, or 3 columns. It's just a really great and user-friendly design tool for emails. So what you want to do is you want to customize those emails. This is just an example of the invite that I sent out to my list. And it's really great to, it looks super customized once you build it. You can grab buttons over, you can embed links. And then once you send that out to your list, you can either schedule it for later in the future, or you can send it out now. Once your email has been sent out, you then have the analytics part of it, where you can show open rates of that email, you can show click rates, You can show whether desktop or people on their desktop or their mobile devices opened it. It'll tell you how many successful deliveries there are, how many bounces, how many unsubscribes, and how many reported spam. So it's just a really great feature of HubSpot, the email marketing tool. And then it will give you insight into the next emails that you're creating. So if your open rates are low, you're going to work on your subject line because probably it wasn't enticing enough for somebody to open it. If your open rates are decent, and your click rates are low, then you want to work on the content that you put inside your email because people were clicking, but they weren't clicking through, or they were opening it, but they weren't clicking through. So the email marketing platform is free up to 2,500 emails per month. So it does add up, but a lot of us with only, hundreds or only a few thousand can definitely get by with the HubSpot marketing tool. Now I'm going to switch gears and move over to the project management software, which I also use. I use it both for my clients who actually pay for it to have more functionality, but personally, I just use the free version because I only have a few employees. And Asana is the name of this one. So what I have here is I'm opened up to the home screen where I have projects open up. And each of these projects represent a different client for me. You don't have to set it up that way. You could have departments. If you pay for it, you can have portfolios where you have many projects under each portfolio. But when we're small businesses, we don't always need that. So once you click into a project, you open up to this screen where you can have sections. So personally, for this specific project, I have newsletters, blogs, and videos for my different sections. I can assign my employees to each of these different tasks under the sections, and then you can apply a due date on them. Once you open up a specific task, you'll see from this view that this window pops up. And what you can do is you can write a description about the task. You can even assign it to different projects, or you can link it to different projects. What I really like about the due date here, and a lot of other project management softwares don't offer this, but this little, sorry, my mouse disappeared. Here it is. This little arrow that's going around means that that task is reoccurring, and you can make it reoccurring daily, weekly, every 5 weeks, every 3 days, every month. So you can set that up, which I really love about it because I have so many weekly and monthly and reoccurring tasks that you don't really want to rewrite that task. So if you were to click the check off button here that you've completed the task, it will automatically recreate the task for the next date. So that's a really nice function of this platform. What I also like about it is this subtask section. In these subtasks, you can put as many tasks as you want and also have separate due dates on them. Other project management softwares don't always have separate due dates on the subtask section. It's only on the main task here. So that's another nice functionality. Here you have a chat section where you can chat with your collaborators or your employees on this specific task, and it's always attached to this task, which is really nice. So you can ask questions, you can post updates, you can also add attachments up here. You can link it to other things, and you can also link it to other projects. So you can make it, this task is dependent on the task before, which is a really nice feature as well. So what I'm showing you here is the list view. And you can also apply filters where you can show all of your tasks that are due today, tomorrow, next week, which is a really nice option. But you can also view this in the board view. This is sort of like Trello, which is another project management software that a lot of people know. And the board view is really nice too, because you can drag and drop any of these boxes over to different sections. Some people have the due now section, some people have completed sections. There's even a late section if you want, so you can really customize it to whatever suits your business the best. And then my personal favorite is the calendar view. I know it seems simple, but it's really nice to see a bird's eye view of what's going on each month. You can even color coordinate some of your tasks. So you can the color feature up here, like let's say my newsletters, I want it to be in red. I could do that so that you can just see them and visualize them easily from a month or a weekly perspective. Um, Another nice feature is the inbox. So Asana is also integrated with your email, which is really nice. But even if you don't want to do that, at least you have an inbox feature. So you can communicate with all of your collaborators on each of these projects via Asana. If it is integrated with your email, then anytime that you create, you do an update or you create a new task or you assign something to one of your collaborators or employees, it will send you an email and it will say this has been updated. It will also send you reminders that tasks are becoming due, whether it's today or tomorrow, however you set that up. So the notifications are really nice to automatically be delivered to your email. So again, Asana is free to use. Everything I've shown you here is free. If you want to start with the goals section or the portfolios, you do need to start paying for it. I know one of my clients pays $24 a user per month. But again, there's a lot more functionality. The company is much bigger than mine is. So at the beginning, you really don't need to pay for it, and you can really get by without paying for it. And again, it's free forever if you're just using this functionality of it. The next platform I want to go over is Weebly. So this is a website design tool, or a CMS, a content management system. Weebly is, so I really love WordPress. Don't get me wrong. I know most of you probably have heard of WordPress or Drupal. It's that like that's really a great platform, but it's not as user friendly as something like Weebly. So you really need to kind of dive into it and feel it out in order for you to learn the platform when you're talking about WordPress or Drupal. Whereas Weebly, you can really just start using it on day one and kind of navigate through it, really easily. So that's why I recommend this one. You have really all of the same plugins you would have for any other website platform. And then you also have an analytics feature, which is very high level. It's not a Google Analytics, but it's nevertheless, it's still there. So this is just an example of after you select a theme, just like you would on any other website platform, it then brings you to this website builder section. And this is very similar to the HubSpot email builder that I walked you through before, where you can drag and drop titles or text boxes, images, you can embed videos, you can have a carousel or a slideshow section, you can pull over social media icons, you can have spacers and dividers, you can create buttons. It's just, you can even create forms, which is super user friendly. Once you do build this, you can then look at your analytics once you make it live. So again, it's free to build your website on here, but for them to host it, you're going to need to pay between $12 and $20 a month, depending on the payment model that you select. So this is just an example of the very simplified analytics that you can see. You have unique visitors, page views, and you have average pages per unique visit. You can see this every 7 days or the last 30. So it's a nice feature, but really what you want is to embed the Google Analytics code for your website. And you can do that in the SEO section, which is here. So under settings, you can select who your editors are and send them invites so that other people on your team can have access to the back end of your website. And you can also control the SEO for not only the whole site, but also in the pages section, there's SEO for each of your pages. And I would highly recommend that all of you use that. Whenever you're building a website, always pay attention to the meta tags, meta keywords, the site descriptions, and page descriptions, and also the titles. This is an example of the Google Analytics footer code that you can easily bring over from Google Analytics. And then you can access Google Analytics if you have a Gmail account, and you can see all the activity on your site in detail. And again, that's also free. I'm not going to go over that today. But so speaking of SEO, we're going to switch gears to Ubersuggest. So you want to do keyword research every time you're doing any type of search engine optimization for your website. This is a really fantastic and user-friendly tool. In the search section right here, I just used an example of a keyword, small business marketing. It will give you the search volumes for that keyword. It shows you the SEO difficulty. It shows you cost per click. And what it'll also show you is other keywords that are similar to it. So it will list those similar keywords. It'll tell you the volume per month that people are searching for that keyword, cost per click. It'll again show you the SEO difficulty. You want this to stay under 40 if anybody pays attention to that. But what I also like about this is their content ideas. So based on that keyword that you put in the search section, they will give you content ideas for things that you can write about on your blog or post about. It'll show you engagement activity on all different platforms like Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. It's a really nice tool that you can really tap into when you're really stuck on what to write about and what people are searching for, what they're interested in when it comes to your industry. What you can also do, I'm just going to back up here, instead of adding a keyword here to search for, you can even put in your domain of your website or even a competitor's website, and you can see all the backlinks, how many backlinks you have. You can see how many people are clicking on your website. And they will actually give you an assessment of your website. They'll show you any of your links that are broken. It's just a really fantastic tool that I would highly suggest everybody tap into. So that is your keyword research tool. And I'm done with the free ones now. I'm now going to move over to other cost-effective tools that are not expensive, but they're definitely necessary for a small business owner. The first one is really your accounting and bookkeeping software. I know I personally use QuickBooks, which is very streamlined. Everybody knows about QuickBooks, but Xero is also a really great option that has all the same functionalities as QuickBooks, and it's really half the price. QuickBooks is about $35 a month for a small business. Xero is about half of that. So I definitely use this for accounting, bookkeeping. I also have an app on my phone where I can snap receipts for all of my expenses. There's even a time management section. Invoicing, you can automate all your invoicing, which is really handy. And then of course your P&L statements. What I really like about those the most though is that my accountant has access to my QuickBooks, and therefore during tax season, I literally don't do anything. He goes into my QuickBooks and pulls out everything he needs, whether it's expense reports, P&L statements, anything like that. So, or my revenue. So it's really necessary for small business owners to have some sort of automated accounting or bookkeeping software. The next thing I want to talk about is Google Workspace. This is really good. This is when you have when you need like your at domain9.com for your email accounts. It's more professional to have that rather than keeping an at Yahoo or at Gmail. That costs $12 per account for you to use. And then it also gives you access to video conference calling. There's a really great chat feature where you can communicate with all of your employees. There's also documents, which is just like a Word. There's sheets, which is just like Excel. There's slides, which is just like PowerPoint. And then you have your Google Drive where you can store all of those documents on the drive, but you can also share them with all your employees or collaborators or anybody that you want to view those documents or even edit them. And you can also control the access to those documents, which is really nice. So I would highly recommend Google Workspace. I've used Microsoft Teams in the past. It's very similar, but Teams is more expensive. So now I would say that the most crucial tools for you to get started, if you only had to choose four of them, I would say definitely the first thing would be Google Workspace, just to keep everything in one platform. The project management software, which was Asana, that's how you can organize your tasks, and also see everything from a calendar view, what's going on in the company. HubSpot was for your CRM and your email marketing, and then Weebly would be the tool to build your website on. So that's it. Well, thank you very much, everybody.